There is a serious weather emergency playing out right now as we speak. We've seen rainfall in some places of almost 600 millimetres with more to come.
Major flood warnings have been issued, with rivers set to break records set in 1977.
Been through a lot of floods, like living on this road my whole life, but yeah, never like this before.
Everyone that you talk to, even his mum and dad, they've said they've been here their whole life as well and they've never seen it as crazy as what it has been. On our road, Hodzic Road, there is a power pole. Imagine how tall the power pole is and the bottom wires that run across it. Halfway down was how high the water was on our road.
No, so people were driving around on boats.
The cyclone was on the Wednesday and that was a pretty calm day, as everyone would tell you. But then Thursday came around and I didn't go to work. Tom made it out, I didn't. But I was calling him probably from about 12 o'clock onwards saying, like, you need to come home, the river is rising, the front causeway is going to be flooded, you need to come back, otherwise you probably won't make it. And lucky he did, he was just able to get through our front causeway, it was quite high.
I don't know if we can see the end of our driveway. I don't think so. All the way over there. That is insane.
We were going to leave once the Barron broke its banks, but the water has to meet from our front property to the Barron before it starts to rise, and if we had have left then we probably would have been swimming out, so glad we left when we did. All we had was pretty well the necessities, so we didn't know how high the water would come. I had absolutely no idea, so we lifted what we could up to save what we could, and on our backs we just had 4 pairs of clothes, our ID, money, and some drinks to get us through.
And a rope.
And a rope, yeah, a rope as well.
Still missing a lot of things, but yeah.
I just remember getting a call from Tom because I didn't come with him and he said, you're probably going to cry when you see the inside of the house.
Yeah, my name is Giuliano Cordinos. I'm living here for the last 46 years with my wife Gina. We're coming here on the 1st of April 1976. We'll be here for so long time and we'll see so many cyclones going through. We wasn't worried at all. And we was watching the river, the way it was going, and it was rising very fast. We waited until the water coming where I am now, and then we'll let it go. It wasn't any other choices, you know. I think I blame in the Cobra Creek because it never happened before on the history of Mareeba. They took the bridge away on Cobra, never ever before it went away. That there must be massive of water coming through that time, and that water was coming in front of my place.
When the flooding sort of started, we were sort of taken a little bit off guard because the water kept coming and coming, I suppose. And the water sort of kept rising and the rain kept coming, and we just thought, well, we're going to have to get out now, because if it comes into the house, we've sort of got nowhere to go then. The water was fairly flowing under the house onto our veranda, At that stage then I got a bit worried. I jumped in a bigger tractor with a four-wheel drive tractor with a bucket in it, and I drove that tractor up onto the veranda of our house. Told my wife to get a bit of gear ready, just some dry clothes and a bit of food. And we had another little gas cooker and that sort of stuff. I knew we could get to another spot that was going to be pretty safe for us. So I got the tractor inside on the veranda, and we got 4 steps up to the house because we're at 1200 off the ground here. We lifted both the kids off the top of the house and put both the kids into the bucket of the tractor, and my wife and our gear and cats and dogs, and then we headed to a dry ridge, yeah. When the water dropped down for a little bit, and we thought our place would be right, and then a couple of hours after that, the water all of a sudden just rose up by another 2 foot, and then we thought, well, our house is probably going to be underwater. And at that stage then, on that Sunday afternoon, which really got to us then, I suppose, because we were sitting there and watching all of my tool cabinets, our rainwater tanks, toolboxes all just float down past us. That was a real kick as we were going, oh my goodness, look at our stuff that's actually come out of sheds and stuff, and steel cabinets that are pretty heavy, just like a leaf floating in a strong current. That Tuesday, we lost power and we had no phone service at all for the whole week, so we couldn't ring anyone. Lucky a neighbour up the road was in his boat because he was looking for his cattle. A lot of his cattle got washed away, which was lucky, and then he called in and seen us, and he said he'll come back that afternoon just to check on us. And he come back that afternoon. The water had risen another metre. We still had another metre or two before it actually come into this other house we were staying at. That was just on dark, and we'd made a decision that we'll just jump in the boat with our neighbour and we'll go to their place. It was a little bit terrifying because at that stage, down onto the creek flats where we are, there's debris up the trees, 8-9 metres high in these big gum trees. So that was the scariest thing for me. I thought, if anything goes wrong now with this boat, it's going to be hard to keep us all together because the current was so strong and so deep. That was my biggest fear. I mean, no, we've never been through any of that sort of experience before. So you just, like I said, you just got to use that, your North Queensland resilience and Aussie spirit, I suppose, and we just got through it, I suppose, yeah.
We've been here for about 12 years, so we're all very much aware of the danger of cyclone. And you do the normal things. You get around the paddock and make sure everything's picked up, put everything away, make sure you got plenty of fresh water, make sure all your batteries are charged, that normal sort of cyclone preparation stuff. We're used to having rain here. It does cut places off. I mean, in fact, in a way, we kind of look forward to the time when Mount Malloy is cut off for a couple of days because everything is relaxed and you move at the speed of the land, and that's all good. You're prepared for it, everything's fine. But it really got more than we had ever seen before. There was a particular situation with a couple that lived just across here. This is Spear Creek, then there's Rifle Creek, and they're just on the banks of Rifle Creek down there. They had to move on top of the roof. They had to climb up a ladder and sit on the roof all night long in the rain with the water rushing by a meter below them. So you can imagine the kind of stress that they were under, and they were sending us texts and pictures of where they were and what the situation was. But it was also interesting to notice the sense of helplessness in the community, because we were all standing down there in the middle of the night, probably 20 of us down there gathered watching the water rush by and knowing that they're just over there, but there's no way we could get to them. And what can we do? We're just here, we're just going to watch them drift by because you can't get to them. But fortunately, in the morning, they were still there, still on the roof. Everything came through fine.
So yeah, it's the role of the SES. It's, we get a lot of calls for assistance, and that's what we're here to do as best we can. Myself, I was actually out of action. I was flooded in completely by the point. So on the night just before the flooding all started, we were actually kind of knocked off and we're going to have the day off, that day off. So we'd all headed home and stuff. And then, yeah, it just started raining and it didn't stop. And then in the morning, I was completely flooded. So I was stuck just kind of coordinating and fielding calls and kind of looking at, kind of assessing jobs for the next day or where we need to be and what we need to be doing. I think probably the highest I would have heard about would have been how close it got to the actual Coranda Bridge. It was almost at 15 metres at the Mareeba measuring station, which was insane, unheard of, like there's just, couldn't even imagine that, And it's even worse, we were at properties doing washouts and, you're standing on the ground floor and you look up to this 2-storey building and, it's about a metre and a half off the bottom, off the second storey. And you're like, that's crazy. That's, how many, that's 3, 4, 5 metres at this house alone, A lot of people were very devastated, understandably. A lot of people had lost everything. I think what really stood out to me though was the resilience. A lot of the time when we actually rocked up to a property, with the fireys and stuff, people had already started cleaning up and they'd already started, trying to get the furniture out of the way or even trying to sweep the mud out of their properties or, trying their best they could to get their life back on track with, before we even got there.
My name is Norma Maloney and I'm part of the Crime Stoppers FNQ volunteer organisation. For me personally, I wasn't affected by the floods, apart from a leaky roof, which was very, very minor. It was just riding it out like everybody else was. After the event, it became apparent that there was a need for cleaning products. So through my business, I collected a lot of cleaning products and people who were affected by the floods could come in and pick them up. Then it became apparent that there was more needed, and so I decided through Crime Stoppers FNQ that we would open up the RSL hall as a central collection point for donations. So things like kitchenware, clothes, personal hygiene stuff, toothpaste, shampoo, conditioner, all that kind of stuff. And we just had it there for people who just needed to pick up some items, and we were just a source of being able to collect it in one hand and be able to distribute it in the other. I had one lady that took 2 steps inside the hall and just burst into tears. She was just so overwhelmed. She didn't even know where to start. But I think what's shone through though again is the resilience and the strength of these people. I certainly don't want the Mareeba Shire to be the forgotten pocket. There's lots and lots of people in the Mareeba Shire that still need help. And there's still places that I didn't even know had been impacted that I only found out at the end of last week, and there's more and more coming to light. And that's really sad because there's no official statistics out there. The way we delivered the hampers on Saturday was simply through a lot of local knowledge and just getting out there and talking to people. I mean, we were very fortunate in this area that nobody lost a life. And, that obviously is the most important thing, but next is their mental health. That's not to say that that's not going to come into play in the months ahead, and it's important that family, friends reach out to these people and just make sure that they're okay, because that is where there's going to be the next impact, I think. But for example, I was talking to a lady on Saturday and she felt that she was doing okay. But during the course of our conversation, she actually broke down. And she then sort of realised that maybe it would be beneficial for her to actually go and talk to somebody. So sometimes it's important to talk to qualified people who are able to assist a little bit more than perhaps what I can do.
So I stay in Kawa, it's a remote community. There's two causeways that we get through, so into the town and out of the town. That's how we access, water, service, etc. There was no Wi-Fi. We had no water as well where we live because we have to pump water out there. with Kawa, we did experience a lot of rain. The house next to us was the water come right up, so really, scared during that time. Just showing empathy as well to people, making sure that they're okay. In terms of the service, we had to travel up the road in our cars just to be able to get in contact with my colleagues and stuff, and making sure they're okay. I think calling back, it was 5 to 6 days without power. And just the significant amount of rain was really scary. None of us were expecting that.
Nunbai not only looks after the Kuranda community, but we look after, we have an aged care program in Mareeba, Atherton and Mount Garnet. I was on my family property and we were flooded in. We had the causeway washed away and we couldn't come into work. We were coordinating via phone, text messaging and making sure that everybody was looking after their areas. It was a coordinated effort between all of those sites to make sure that everyone had what they needed and we were responding appropriately. When the waters started subsiding, there were still some communities that were without access to purchase food and to restock and regather. So I was able to engage also with Mulungu Medical Centre, and she was able to work with us, and we partnered. Nunbai purchased some goods and they purchased some goods, and then we did a great big drive-through. As soon as the road were open and the flooding had subsided, and we saw all the ergon trucks going in, because all of us in that area were without power for about 6 days. We had some concerns about Mona Mona because we knew that there were some families out at Mona Mona, and Mona Mona is kind of located about 45 k's out of Kuranda. And when I called up Mareeba Shire Council to see whether they were able to help, they were saying, yeah, we're actually doing some helicopter runs to neighbouring cattle properties. And so we said, well, can we become involved in that too? And so they were able to supply a helicopter, which was absolutely wonderful because it was all well coordinated, and we were able to get the food at that time and make sure that it was out, in a timely manner.
So I think that us being insured has made everything 10 times better. Otherwise, I don't know how okay I would be. It has definitely saved us, and you do feel a lot more calm, like a weight is lifted off your shoulders, knowing that you have that extra support behind you. Don't deter living on the Barron or anywhere scare you from buying the place. It's still a beautiful place to live. Just keep in mind that something like this is possible. Making sure that your house is on the highest place of the property is definitely a big thing. And insurance, definitely, if you can.
I can't have enough thanks to thanking all the ones that are coming here help me, the fire brigade, everybody that was here. They're coming here about half hour after when they're calling, and they're coming here, everyone that was in arms to cleaning, and I had people here I'd never seen before, and they was there, and I met my wife and everything, and couldn't believe it, they was in here, but they was scrubbing the floors, they was doing everything, and there was people that I never seen before. I think there was very, very professionals, everyone that coming here. I can't say I need more than that. See, when it's happening like this, they're all, especially Mareeba, because it's a small community, they're all together, they're helping one each other,
You can't get too panicky about stuff. I mean, you can't save everything. If it happens again, you just can save, save what you can, and the rest you just got to let, you don't worry about it. Like I said, the biggest thing is getting your family and kids safe, and the rest you can always buy again, or find it down the creek 12 months' time.
I think really that, anyone in the community, they're not alone. I think that's probably the main thing. I think no matter how isolated you think you are, I think there's always people who are going to come help you. you know, even void SES or emergency services in general. I think even your neighbours, I think that's the biggest thing I saw, neighbours helping neighbours and community helping each other, and I think that was probably, you know, you're not alone.
The resilience and the strength that is being shown by these people is truly amazing. I mean, far north Queenslanders are renowned for resilience, but there is no other place I would rather be, because they just have this depth of strength that just amazes me. It's incredible.